Radio Scotland's Make a Difference campaign has been running for a while now, and we've been hearing about some of the inspiring and kind and creative ways that people are helping out in their communities during the COVID pandemic. And our next guest is one such good Samaritan. Rachel Spears is a classically trained soprano who's hosting an online concert from her living room to raise funds for a music organisation called SoundUp Arts. It engages with people living with dementia, and Rachel's performance is happening tonight. But before that, she's here with us right now to tell us all about it. Hello, Rachel.
Hello, Nicola.
Lovely to have you on this afternoon. Oh, listen, it's a pleasure. You'll be gearing up for tonight. Are you getting the living room all spruced up? Do you have to kind of set the scene? Tell us what's surrounding you. What can we see tonight if we tune in? Are you on your sofa?
So I'm not quite on my sofa. We've actually had to move the sofa out for the evening, just to make some space. But I'm surrounded by lots of homely things, hopefully. We've got, nice plants and paintings up, and we've even got some fairy lights. So it's been really fun to set up.
Now, obviously, this is something that more and more people, musicians and performers in general, have had to adapt to over the last few months. Is this your first home concert, Rachel, or are you a veteran of them now?
It is actually my first one, yes. Okay. And it's something that's completely new to me, so I'm excited but slightly nervous for that.
It's interesting as well, isn't it? Because it is a different sort of a dynamic. It's a different... I was speaking to Des Clark, the comedian Des Clark was on last week, and he was saying how obviously it's very different because you can't kind of read the audience, you can't have that kind of dialogue, you can't kind of feed from them and react to them because they're not directly there. But also, I'm wondering about attention spans, Rachel, because if I'm going to a gig, which I frequently do in the other times, you'll be there for a few hours and not think anything of it. But I'm wondering if you're just expecting people to look at a screen, does that change even the amount of time that you would consider putting on, I guess, a set list and putting a gig together?
Absolutely, yeah. I've had to think quite carefully about that. So my concert tonight, I'm aiming for about 40 to 45 minutes. That's with speaking included, which hopefully I won't get too carried away with. That does tend to happen. But I've absolutely considered that. It's a long time to look at a screen in a live setting, especially. I mean, obviously we all watch films, maybe, and maybe even concerts that are on for a long time. But I've definitely taken that into consideration. And yeah, it should be about 40 to 45 minutes. And hopefully nice and varied for people as well.
Yeah, because that's it as well, isn't it? It's a bit of everything. And on a Friday night, it's such a lovely thing to be a part of, but it's a hugely important, charity organisation that you're involved with as well. And the idea of music, obviously hugely entertaining for us, but it does have a really, really positive effect, doesn't it, on all sorts of different health issues and mental health issues, and on people living with dementia. Tell us about some of the ways in which it can impact and benefit them.
Yes, so SoundUp works in care homes and with people living with dementia, and it's been proven that being involved in regular music and singing activities brings a huge number of benefits to these people. It's been proven to increase communication, stimulate social connection, improve confidence and expression, and nurture identity and selfhood, which I think we'd all agree are important for all of us.
Absolutely.
But these really have a valuable impact on all of us, but particularly on the people that SoundUp works with.
Yeah, absolutely. And just making connections as well when people feel so kind of lost and confused, I think is hugely important as well. Now, you've chosen home as the theme of tonight's concert, which is fitting because that's where you're going to be, as with so many of us, of course, all of us in fact. But tell us, you mentioned there's going to be a variety. Tell us a little bit about the types of music or the types of songs you're going to be playing tonight.
Yeah, so over the years I've been singing lots of different genres, but obviously I don't know if you know, but I've just graduated. In fact, I should have been graduating today.
Yes, from today. Good grief.
From my master's degree in Manchester.
Well, congratulations all the same. It's a celebration nonetheless.
Thank you. So so I'm singing a few classical things tonight. So I'm going to be singing a couple of songs from some of my favourite operas. I'll also be singing some Scots songs. And I'll also be throwing in a couple of jazz numbers and maybe even some musical theatre. So it's going to be extremely varied.
Goodness me, you're spoiling us. Well, listen, can you maybe give us a flavour of something we might get to hear later on? Perhaps it could be a little sound check for you to the nation.
would be great. Yeah. So I'm going to be starting with one of my favourite Scots songs, which is called "Oh Whistle and I'll Come to You, My Lad," with words by Robert Burns. So I thought I'd just give you a little bit of that to whet your appetite. Oh, whistle and I'll come to you, my lad. Oh, whistle and I'll come to you, my lad. Oh, feather and mither and oh, shaggy mad. Oh, whistle and I'll come to you, my lad. But wearily tent when you come take on me, and come me unless the I can't be your Jean. Sign up the back style and let nobody see. And come as you were, not come into me. And come as you were, not come into me.
My goodness, I certainly won't be singing along with you, Rachel Spears, let's put it that way. Sounding stunning and fine voice ahead of tonight's home performance for SoundUp Arts. It must be wonderful as well, I guess, if you have a theme like that, to explore, because there are so many songs. You know, once you actually, we do it every Friday, we do it every day on the afternoon show, we find a theme, and then you kind of explore the various ways in which a word or an idea is reflected in song. But home in particular is so resonant at the moment, isn't it, Rachel?
Absolutely. And it's something also that I think is relevant to the work that SoundUp does as well. You know, many of the people that we work with may be in care homes, or they may even actually not really know what or where home is.
No.
So for them, it might become much more of a feeling rather than a place, which I think is an interesting idea to explore as well.
My goodness, that's so absolutely true. And when you're getting philosophical about it like that, I think it just comes down to a real sense of sort of comfort and almost safety that so many people, you know, that's the most important thing. So to be able to celebrate that and put on this concert on a Friday night, which will be amazing. And of course, I'm thinking as well, Rachel, I mean, not only should you have been graduating today, such a huge event, but also just as a performer in general, I mean, this must have been such a strange time for you not to have been out there and on the stage.
Yes.
and again engaging with wherever that is, whether it's going in and visiting people or of course singing to crowds. Is it something is your focus on just looking forward to that moment where you can get back on the stage, or at the moment is it just a case of one thing at a time, the home gig tonight, knowing that people at home and in all sorts of other places will be joining in and I guess remotely connecting with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm desperate to get back singing for people in real life, and I definitely think it's going to be slightly odd singing to just my parents who will be behind the camera tonight, but yeah, but I mean, it's great to be able to do this, and you know, this might be the way that we're heading at the moment, and at least we're still able to do it. That's kind of my feeling at the moment.
Well, listen, I'm really looking forward to tuning in, seeing the fairy lights and the plants, your folks behind the cameras and you in front of it. Rachel Spears, thanks so much for coming on this afternoon. Lovely to speak to you.
Thank you so much.
Absolute
Thank
pleasure.
You for having me.
Cheers. I'll see you later. You won't see me. Rachel Spears there. And yeah, the SoundUp Arts organisation doing terrific things, and the home gig tonight with Rachel. And if you know anyone who's going the extra mile to help out in their community, or if there's someone you'd like to thank who's made a difference to you, email us at makeadifference.scotland@bbc.co.uk.